What's up guys, it's me Justin back for a special episode, and this one is all about SpaceX. Today we're talking about StarHopper and the 150-meter test that it just went through literally about 4 hours ago. So today we're going to talk about obviously StarHopper and that 150-meter test. We're going to go in depth a little bit about what is StarHopper for those of you guys that don't know what it is and why they're making StarHopper and these prototypes that lead to Starship. I'm sure you guys have heard me say Starship and StarHopper, but maybe you guys are wondering what is this stuff. So I'm gonna show you all the cool footage from today, and I'm also gonna go ahead and tell y'all about these awesome machines so that way you guys have a better understanding of what SpaceX is doing with StarHopper prototype, the Raptor, and Starship. Let's go ahead and get to it. So as you guys know, StarHopper did a 20-meter test. On July 26th, it went up 20 meters or about 65 feet. It really wasn't that crazy. It was at nighttime. It was really dark. I played that video on my first episode of Nerd Space News, episode 1. I'll put that up here so you guys can go ahead and check that out if you guys haven't already. Now, fast forward to August 27th, today, about 5 hours ago actually, StarHopper did a 150-meter test, so it is spectacular. The FAA finally gave the approval for SpaceX to go ahead and do so. They originally wanted it to be a 250-meter test, but that didn't work out. So SpaceX said, "Hey, you know what? We'll take it. We'll take the 150. We'll test it. It's better than nothing." It was spectacular and awesome to see. I'm gonna go ahead and put that video now so you guys can go ahead and watch it. So now that we watched StarHopper and the 150-meter test, let's go ahead and dive into the history of StarHopper. First, it's going to start with the Raptor. After the Raptor, we'll dive into StarHopper, what's going on in the future of StarHopper, and then we'll get to Starship at the very end. So the story starts with Raptor, and this is a house-made engine that SpaceX has developed, designed, and made in-house, mainly in Hawthorne, California is where they build it, and they ship them over here to McGregor, Texas for testing. So they have started this in 2009 and they've continued all the way till now. So the Raptor, it's quite a different engine. Unlike the space shuttle, it is a methalox engine. So that means it uses methane and liquid oxygen. Liquid oxygen is the oxidizer and methane is the fuel. Now it's also a full flow stage combustion cycle. If you want to know more about that engine, I'm just going to recommend you guys to Everyday Astronaut's video because he has a great explanation of all 4 types of engines that the knowledge is above my head. I'm learning, but he does a great way and he has some animations. Go ahead and check it out. Great video. So the Raptor engine, it's a gorgeous engine, especially when it fires up. Have these really cool mock diamonds, which I'll show you in a video. One thing I forgot to mention, I believe the reason why SpaceX used a methalox engine is because on Mars, when they get there with the Raptor engine and Starship, they can go ahead and set up a fuel depot, and the conditions on Mars, I guess it's pretty easy, you know, with some science behind it, to turn air into methane in Mars. So it makes sense for them to use a methane powered rocket here. That way when they get to Mars, they can build a fuel depot and make their own fuel on Mars. So now we're on to StarHopper. What is it? Basically, in a nutshell, it's a large 65-foot tall water tower with a big Raptor engine, which is also SN06. Last one from testing that they fixed that issue with the internal parts breaking essentially. StarHopper was built down here in Boca Chica, Texas, which is like 8 hours away from me. I'm in Houston. I never got to see it. It would be really cool to see though. It is a prototype for Starship, and basically they are using it just to put some payload on that Raptor engine, get it in flight, test out a couple systems, learn that data, and essentially build a larger Starship prototype. Still prototype, not yet the full version. So basically StarHopper is just like Grasshopper from Falcon 9. They used all that data, made the Falcon 9, they're using StarHopper data, and they're gonna push forward on another Starship prototype. Now, there are no real names for a Starship prototype, it's just Mark 1 and Mark 2. And the reason why there's 2 is because one is being developed in Boca Chica also, and the second one is being developed in Cocoa, Florida, which is really close to Cape Canaveral. I mentioned that in my second video of Nerd Space News episode 2. I'll put the link up there so you guys can check it out. Starship prototype is gonna be much taller. I don't have the height specifications on that yet, as I don't think they've been released. It's also gonna have 3 Raptor engines. Which one's gonna fly first, I'm not too sure, as they're kind of in a friendly race. It's pretty cool to see both these, both sides, Florida and Texas, competing to build one the fastest. And I'm hoping it flies by the end of October, maybe even beginning of November. It's gonna be really fun to see. Lastly, we have Starship, which I've said a million times. So let's get into some history about that. Essentially, this is the ship that Elon wants us to go around the moon, to the moon, and to Mars with. He even wants to use this for interplanetary travel to get anywhere in the world within an hour. It's gonna be pretty cool stuff. So you may have heard about SpaceX and BFR. What is BFR? Well, BFR stands for Big Falcon Rocket, basically a beefier version of a Falcon 9 or even a Falcon Heavy. Well, BFR is actually Starship. It's the same thing, they just changed the name. Every year, Elon does a presentation on Starship, and design changes, amounts of engines change, all this stuff changes every year. So we're actually waiting for the next one coming soon, especially since they just finished that 150-meter test. I'm hoping it's going to be in the next week or two, hopefully soon. So Starship is going to have 7 Raptor engines. Now, these are going to be I don't know how they're going to do this, because they're going to be able to work in normal atmosphere, and then they're also going to be able to work in the vacuum of space. So they're going to have some sort of very intricate nozzle, because ones that are made for the vacuum in space are a lot larger. We'll see how that goes. Starship also has another name, and that's called Super Heavy Booster. Now that just sounds super cool and wicked, in my opinion. Super Heavy Booster is essentially like a first stage Falcon 9, but on Starship. It's gonna have 42 Raptor engines. It's gonna be an insane amount of power. I can't even fathom to think that. It's going to be much more powerful than the Saturn V ever was. It's going to be powered, like I said, 42 Raptor engines. It's going to be really nice to see, and that's really the end game here for SpaceX. There's actually already been a couple small stainless steel rings for Super Heavy Booster in testing. So all this stuff is starting to come together. It's going to be super cool to see all this stuff in the next coming probably 6 months to a year. This stuff takes a while as it's space, but like I said, Starship, it's end goal for SpaceX. Okay guys, well now that I went over what StarHopper, Raptor, and Starship, even BFR, I hope you guys know a little bit more about, SpaceX and their vehicles and engine. That way, whenever more videos like this come out, you kind of have an idea what we're talking about, instead of just watching a hunk of metal fly in the air and land and think that's cool. But, nevertheless, more videos to come. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I will have a link for Twitter in the description for you guys. Please check that out. I only have like 2 followers, whatever. I'm trying to grow that as well. And if you like the video, please share it. That's going to help me out a ton. Anyways, guys, I can't wait for next episode. Peace out.